Jane Austen by Andrea D. Jane Austen was born on December 16, 1775. Her father was named George Austen, and he was a minister. Her mother's name was Cassandra Austen. Jane was one of 6 brothers and 1 sister. Her brothers' names were James, George, Edward, Henry, Francis, Charles, and her sister's name was Cassandra. Jane Austen was born in Hampshire, in the Stevenson Rectory. When she was little, her and her sister were sent to Oxford to be educated. As a teenager, she wrote poetry, stories, and plays, which she shared with her family. During her lifetime, she was closest to her sister Cassandra and her brother Henry. Henry later became her banker. In her adulthood, Jane Austen lived with her parents. She helped out with the household chores. She played the pianoforte and was also a seamstress. She enjoyed dancing at balls, which were hosted by her wealthy friends. Jane Austen enjoyed the country because she enjoyed taking walks outside. However, in 1801, her parents moved from Hampshire to Bath. Her father died in 1805. After her father's death, she moved to Southampton with her sister and mother, where her brother Frank lived. In 1809, she moved back to Hampshire to the Chawton estate thanks to her brother Edward. She relied on her brothers for money because she never married. However, she fell in love once with a man who unfortunately died. She also received a proposal from Harris Big Wither, but she declined. Jane Austen died on July 18, 1817, at the age of 41. She died from Addison's disease. Jane Austen did most of her writing in Hampshire. She did little writing in Bath, and she did not write at all in Southampton. All of her novels, which were published during her lifetime, she said were published by a lady. Pride and Prejudice is Jane Austen's most popular novel. It was first entitled First Impressions. It was published in 1813. It tells the story of Elizabeth Bennet, who is a country girl who lives in poor situations. However, she meets Mr. Darcy, but in the beginning, she has a negative first impression of him, as he does of her. However, she later falls in love with Mr. Darcy as the novel evolves. There are many adaptations to the works of Jane Austen's novels. Pride and Prejudice has 2 movies about it. There is also a movie called Becoming Jane, which is about the life of Jane Austen. There are many books about Jane Austen as well, which continue her amazing novels. There is Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. There are also many books on Mr. Darcy and his life. There's also a movie solely about Jane Austen's book called Jane Austen's Book Club. The first Pride and Prejudice movie features Colin Firth, whereas the second, released more recently, features Keira Knightley.